Alright, so I figured I'd do a quick video to see how this turns out. So I ordered some seeds from Bellamy and just a bunch of Eugenia. But I've ordered seeds before from other people that are already germinated. So these are, you get them in a bag. They've been sitting in some moist material for a while, and they start growing roots. They start growing their little stems. And so then you have to plant them in some soil when you get them. And usually what happens is you have a very long, stem like that. And you also have a long root on the seed. And that's coming out. So obviously the root goes down, the stem goes up. Sometimes it's not that straightforward. But in this case, like, it had a really long stem, like it's kind of etiolated because it was looking for light while it was in the material while it was germinating. And so, when you plant seeds when they're not germinated, what you want to do is you just kind of put them just below the surface and maybe have them be like half an inch below. So, and this is me just kind of experimenting. I don't have a lot of experience with this, but in this case, the seed's already germinated. You've got this etiolated stem and a root. So my first instinct would be, well, I don't want to plant the seed too close to the surface because it's got this long stem. Like the stem needs to be just poking out like a little seed, kind of like that one, right? You would think, because that's how they would come up normally, but it's a little etiolated. So it's a lot longer than it should be, I think, because of that. Again, I don't know for sure. This is me speculating and just learning. But so I thought about it for a second. I thought, well, if I plant it normally, I would put it just below the surface. So that's what I did. And I left the stem coming out. And one thing I noticed is that, like, right about, you can see my finger in the reflection, right about there, there's two little nodules coming out. And it kind of looks like new buds. So that's right on where the green material is at. Those were not there when I planted it initially. They are growing. And so I think what's happening is the top part is probably going to die back, and these new little buds are going to become the new growth, rather than the entire stem. So I'll post an update video to see what happens. I've got some others in the back there that are kind of seeming to do the same thing. If I waddle around here, you can see, like, this one right here is kind of like really etiolated. That is not the root. That is the stem. It's not as green as like this one is, where it's kind of swelling up for new growth, but we'll see what happens with that. But that's why you get a bunch of seeds though, right? Like, this one's going to be obviously fine. But I've got a bunch of them that are kind of like at various stages and lengths and all that. But the one thing I did consistently is just put the seed itself, and they're like just below the surface with maybe half an inch or lower amount of material on top, and with the root pointing down. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but I will do an update, see how these things turn out, specifically this one, because this one's getting the most action. But if anyone knows any more about how to properly do that, let me know. But we'll see if I did the right thing or not.